Greetings, everyone. Yes. It is Epic Cash Live. It is November 26th. Hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I personally went back for thirds, so you can imagine how I'm feeling today. A little bit, a lot of saline in my body, I think, right now. But welcome. This is going to be great, right? We have on the line right now Epic founder Max Freeman. We have Yoga Dude, who, if you missed that interview with him yesterday on Thanksgiving at noon, please go back. It was absolutely awesome. Thank you, Yoga, for investing that time. And then, sorry, I had to hang up that phone. And then we have Enrique from Honduras. I trust you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. And I'm going to open it up to you with a share screen, because what do we do every Friday? We talk about where does Epic Cash rate? And I'm handing it over to you, Papa.
All right. Well, good morning, everyone. What we're looking at right now is a table that shows Epic Cash versus the top 15 cryptocurrencies. On September 3rd, I started a thought experiment, and it's basically what would happen if I put $1,000 into Epic, and what would happen if I put $1,000 into each of the top 15 coins, and which one would perform better. So in the case of Epic, as you can see there, the price on September 3rd was 32 cents. If you had bought Epic, with $1,000, you would have gotten 3,125 coins. So at today's price, what we do is I always take a snapshot every Friday at 11:15 a.m. to compare how Epic performs versus the rest of the coins. So on today's price, it was at $2.07. So that means that your $1,000 invested in Epic Cash would be worth $6,468. And that's an unrealized profit of $5,468 or 546%. So that's pretty impressive. And you also have the market cap. I also like to, last week we started measuring the market cap growth. So as you can see, Epic had a market cap of $3.9 million on September 3rd, and it's grown to just over $27 million. So that's also a big increase of 584%. And the rest of the coins, as you can see, have performed well, but not nearly as well. I mean, we're talking triple digits versus the number 2 coin, which is Solana, which has increased 35%, Luna 27%, BTC. If you would have put $1,000 in BTC on September 3rd, today you would be up $99 or 9%. And you can see the rest of the coins. A few of them have taken some big hits, like Cardano, Doge, XRP. And so you can see here at the bottom line, you have an average, because also some people say that, it's best to diversify amongst the top coins. But if you would have taken those $1,000 and equally invested it into each of the top 15 coins at that time, you would be down $54. So, the trend is quite clear for Epic Cash, and we're a $27 million market cap. So, the potential for growth is unquestionable at this point.
Thank you, Enrique, for that. Max or Yoga, do you have any commentary on what was just presented?
Not a lot of comments. I mean, the numbers kind of speak for themselves. Epic looks pretty good. Today, we have sort of a Black Friday with a whole bunch of news media, trying to manipulate the market and do all sorts of crazy stuff. And market is holding, and Epic is looking pretty darn good. I mean, my only comment is how lousy does Doge have to be with all the shilling? It's still just seems to be sucking harder and harder. But no, as far as Epic goes, I think, I'm still recovering my voice from yesterday, but I think our value proposition is really obvious, so it's really, we're in a good place, and the mass adoption is happening. People, more and more people finding out about us, and it's just, as other components of the ecosystem are coming into place, the offer is becoming, even more compelling. The value is becoming even more apparent, and well, the other guys are kind of helping us a lot because they're looking crappier and crappier. So, on the whole, it's us doing better and a lot of the other guys doing worse that kind of elevates our position in the spotlight, which I'm digging. I'm just, I'm happy for the Epic Cash community. And it's drawing more and more new people in. The rate of growth is accelerating, which is exciting. I mean, we knew that was going to happen. So the ecosystem, and it's still like in this nascent, it's still like in larva stage. The butterfly hasn't even emerged. I mean, this is still early in the game. This is all, this is like the 5 yard, 6 yard. This is like just the beginning, guys. This is the first inning. And it's exciting. It's like the game plan that we're lining up, and it looks robust, and the plan looks executable. The people coming on board are excited. We're drawing a lot more new talent, and we're getting really tremendous geographic penetration. We're expanding geographically. We were in a lot of countries, but now we're getting a real foothold in those countries. So it's not like, I mean, we're already in 100 plus countries, but the presence in each individual country is becoming more robust as well, so it's pretty cool. It's pretty exciting. We're poised to do some really great things. I'm just excited to be here at this particular point in time.
Amen. And for those of you who this may be relatively new, we invite you to go to our Epic Cash community on Telegram as a first place to start. That's t.me/Epic Cash. And if you're crypto curious and want to get smarter in crypto, also encourage t.me/Freeman U, and that's with a U, not a YOU. And I really encourage you to go there and maybe even scroll up over the last 24 hours. Because Yoga, I don't know if you've been paying attention or not, but people really dug your interview yesterday, and it was
really,
yeah, man. People loved the interviews yesterday, and we're particularly calling you out and everybody. So yeah, everybody go in there and join, and you're going to pick up on some real positive energy, some positive vibes. Really also encourage you. This was so fun. I got off a Zoom interview earlier with Becky Boo, who's 18 years old, and she, is already crypto savvy. And so it's a cool thing about our ecosystem is we can have, all demographics come in, join, lock arms together, and go conquer the world. We're all on the right side of financial history here. So thank you, Yoga. Max, you kind of let the cat out of the bag yesterday. Thank you for coming on the show too yesterday. We had a double header. We had Yoga and Max, and that was awesome. And at the end, you let something slip, and that's why I titled this Epic Cash Live, "What the Eck," which is ECK.
There's so many cats out of the bag. So one of the challenges in our type of context, the hive mind way that we achieve things, is there's this issue of fairness of who gets to know what when as far as what's coming. And so we've been as transparent as possible on the process with Bitmart. I mean, technically, most of the time it would be okay, we're going to keep quiet until the exchange announces that they're doing it. That's just kind of like the way it happens. But here, we as a community were talking to them, and so people kind of knew that it was coming. And so, is it an information advantage between quote insiders and quote outsiders? That distinction isn't quite as clear here, because everybody there is no team, and everybody is the team, and we're trying to figure out these things as we go along. And so anyway, we're trying to do our best to make sure that everyone is aware when they're buying and selling, just what is the value today that people can see based on the utility. I mean, as cash, it's very useful to pay for stuff. And I want to talk about adoption patterns that we're seeing in different places later. But also necessarily the decision of trading one asset for another, in this case, Epic for BTC on VTEX, or a peer-to-peer trade through Cash App with your friend when settling lunch and you give them coins or whatever. You're making a value judgment about the future. I would rather have a hamburger today than a nickel next Tuesday, you know, that calculation. And so we owe it to ourselves and everyone involved to be as information dense as we can about what's coming, that is coming with certainty, because in software development, timelines are often necessarily hazy, and we've never wanted to let the market get too far ahead of our achievements. I mean, if something is based entirely on speculation, then that's not quite as sustainable as, all right, I'm paying $7 to send money to Mexico through Western Union. Now I've got a free alternative, and I'm simply using it, not because it's a blockchain and not because I expect to make a profit, but just because it's the tool that meets my needs in the best, cheapest, fastest possible way. So, you know, yes, the December 25th snapshot is very important because it'll determine the initial ownership state of not just ECR, but also ECK. And so ECK is low, and some other people are working hard to put together a copious amount of information on exactly every aspect. But essentially, that is the advanced functionalities or advanced features that we want to bring into Epic in versions 4, 5, 6, 7, and beyond, that we want to test in a canary network environment, which is kind of like a sandbox where we expect a little bit of chaos, and that's okay. That's the point. We're going to see how fast we can rev the engine to really drive transactions through. And so it's a format that has been pioneered by Polkadot and the Kusama Canary Network, Canary ecosystem. And it's really a strategic advantage in terms of our long run ability to be innovative and not have things break, because we want to have stability, but also the ability to move fast with the market and be opportunistic.
Can you explain the emission curve on that is wildly different than that of Epic Cash? Can you tell us why?
Okay, so the Epic emission is tuned so that it hits a terminal point of 21 million. So because of that scarcity and the way that it achieves it with the disinflationary halvings after the singularity, every 4 years, the emission goes down, matching that of BTC. So the incentive is to hold if you can, because the production of coins on a daily basis is going down. So that tends to increase the price, as we've seen, as in these other networks, BTC has gone from 0 to now the better part of 100,000 due to that process, and Epic is following in the same path. And so if we're trying to have a network where there's an incentive for people to move the value around quite quickly, because we want transactions to be flowing through there to see if we can stress test the system, then it's counterproductive to have an economic structure that encourages hodling indefinitely. So coins such as Monero and even Ethereum that have infinite supplies, there's this argument that unless you continue to provide a subsidy out to the world, that at some point transaction fees alone wouldn't be necessary to, or wouldn't be sufficient to ensure the security of the network. And so here, let's say they're right. Well, great, we have the same thing too. So the way the ECK emission works is that it's one coin per second forever. So every day there's 86,400 coins created, and that never changes. So there's no halvings. So over time, like 100 years from now, the inflation rate will be very low, but in the beginning, it's very, very high. And as we've seen, Grin has this emission, and it's almost the exact opposite of what you want for a price, number go up, like we want in BTC and Epic. It's kind of like that happy hockey stick curves turn sideways down towards zero. But I think that's not necessarily a failure of that component of the design, as some of the other challenges that they've encountered on the adoption side. So the idea there is that there will always be somebody willing to mine at a non-zero value, and therefore the network will always continue to survive. So we're tuning it so that if there is that heavy inflation, then you have an incentive like a hot potato to pass it along. We want it to be flowing at a high velocity through there to see where the different rate limiters of the other parts of the system are, because it's not just about transactions per second and throughput. We don't know where the issues are going to be longer term, if that makes sense.
Well, yes.
And if I can just add
Sure.
a little bit to what Max was saying, is that this is kind of a, we talked about Epic ecosystem, about the Epicenter ecosystem, subsuming other technologies. Okay, we talked about how we're not a one-trick pony, and there's all these different components to the system, and this is kind of the proof in the pudding. Okay, this is a little populist in a sense that this is just one of the alternative approaches to crypto that people asked us about, and we're letting them have it. And it doesn't cannibalize the Epic ecosystem. This is quite the opposite. It actually contributes, it files into the greater umbrella. But again, the idea is to just have alternatives. If people want this, they have this. If they want that, we have that. But we will offer all of these options under our umbrella. That's the idea behind this, is all these alternative approaches coming together.
Sorry.
No, go ahead, Max. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, just because there's so many parts to this that are so exciting. So for example, if you're concerned that Mimblewimble itself doesn't provide as high a level of privacy or anonymity as you desire, then Lelantis may be an option for you. And so there's no reason we can't add that, or accumulator-based approaches, as they're called. Diego would be better to speak about that than I would. But like if there's a demand for the super duper privacy, then great, we can add that as well. Also, like we can get 10x the throughput if we tweak the range proof a little bit, but that would make the amounts transparent. So if you imagine like a kids money app or something, like you kind of want to know your kid's spending pattern. Maybe you don't need to know where they spent it, but hey, where'd you spend $500 on? Tell me. Like we have options with different designs that we don't have at the Epic level, and Epic needs to be absolutely perfect and stable, like a metronome, and never ever break and never go down. That needs to be the reliable component in the overall system that never fails, and that means we've got this tension between wanting to innovate and wanting to keep things stable. And so ECK gives us a whole world of possibilities.
This is a live testing environment that doesn't impact the Epic, but at the same time it enhances our ecosystem as a whole. Exactly.
And so developer bounties, bug bounties, hackathons, atomic swap. We're working on atomic swap to XMR, and of course between ECK and Epic, back and forth. I mean, there's
we're gonna have layers, guys. We're gonna have layers. Okay, we're gonna have layers up the wazoo. Okay, for those who want layers.
So in summary, all improvements and upgrades are tried first in ECK, experimented on there, and then applied to Epic when it's
it's a live.
We don't want anything to break.
Range. It's a live.
Epic can never break.
Right, but with ECK, it's just a journey of discovery.
Awesome.
Yeah, and so the
Is
use
it gonna be
cases.
like? Is it going to be? I'm just trying to wrap my head around it. So is this going to be like a Wow Narrow or
No.
a meme coin, a
So
Doge, or
Well, okay, yeah, that's a great point. So, from a consensus protocol innovation perspective, we're going with 50% proof of space-time, which enables people to farm on disk using 99% less electricity. So half the time it'll be proof of space-time farming, half the time it'll be mobile mining through RandomX, and so that gives, or not RandomX, random ARM. So there'll actually be 15.1 billion devices that will be able to plug in and host the network. So still a very compact chain file. We're under 2 gigs with Epic today. And as Todd says, you can get a device for $30 that has a quad core ARM 64 chip that was $5,000 not too long ago. So really, like the most powerful financial tech in the world is going to be available to literally everyone, not like singularity from now, like we may have thought in the beginning of this journey, but suddenly right in front of us in the quarters to come. And so part of why we're just, really showing all the cards at this point of where we are and what's to come is because it's really, our time, and this is needed. These other systems are coming under stress.
How does ECK derive value if the idea is to be a hot potato and acquire it and
yeah, so with the metaverse is coming, which is really not one place, but it's the Mark Zuckerberg controlled metaverse and the TikTok.
Okay, time out.
Yeah,
I love you, but I keep seeing metaverse out there, and I'll be the first to raise my hand saying I haven't taken a deep dive. Can you give just like a 1-minute 101?
Yeah.
What the hell is the metaverse?
Virtual reality spank fest.
Okay.
Well, yes and no. So like, let's say I walk into a shopping mall and it's, and I have an app on my phone that as I'm walking by a store, it says, hey, 40% off on this product that we know you like, an opt-in performance advertising type of thing. Like the merging of what's known as AR, augmented reality, or virtual reality, VR, the physical world.
Somebody's calling Max. But
Yeah. He's back.
I'm back. Yeah.
But he'll get a phone this next week.
Yeah, I promise. Yeah.
It's basically an overlay, like a replica of the real world recreated in virtual reality. Okay. And it's overlaid over the real world. Okay. And what's funny about that is, let's say you're walking down, I don't know, Broadway Avenue in New York. Okay. And let's say you're plugged into Microsoft's Meta universe, okay, and you're going to be able to see Microsoft-based product, represented. I mean, this is one of the things. Like, it's in early stage, and there's all these guys fighting for virtual real estate, which is kind of funny because there's infinite amount of it that can be created, and it could be Fantasyland, which is its own kind of a separate universe, and it could be like an AR overlay over the real place. Okay, so if you didn't have enough commercials and stuff like that, your augmented reality glasses or whatever, like Google Glass or some other tech like that, will start popping up all this like meta, maybe 3-dimensional meta. So it's like virtual reality, augmented reality, like Pokemon, Pokemon Go, combined with real business applications, combined with sort of like SimCity or Second Life or stuff like that. It's just this massive content world, okay, overlaid on top of our world, and in addition to that, it's its own whole separate world. You can create, I don't know, like solar system or different space system or whatever. Okay, so it's really just kind of limited by imagination. And again, the idea is not new. It's just that everybody this is kind of a third era of it. I think this is like everybody just decided that, hey, the time has come again to try this, and it's pretty exciting how many people are pouring money into it.
Yeah.
So there's a great movie called Ready Player One that
Oh, yeah.
shows what I think it could look
Where
like.
do you
So the
where do you
so
find it?
Ready
Ready
Player
Player
One.
One.
Anywhere.
Yeah, anywhere.
Just Google
It's
it.
old. It's a few years old.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Torrent.
Yep.
It kind of shows the
Um,
lives of people that, like, in the real world, they don't have too many things, but in the virtual world, they buy, expensive jackets, cars, watches, all sorts of outfits and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. So it's
Right. And
it's
if you want a
like a new
slightly
world.
so
right, if you want a
so
slightly darker perspective, read Neuromancer by William Gibson. So, but it's somewhere
yeah,
between those
Snow
two.
Snow Crash is another one. Yeah, so that type of genre. But basically, the idea is, if you if you have your account get shut down by the censors, then you lose all your money and you lose all your history. Like, it's a censorable system because it's permissioned and it's based on trust. You're trusting that Facebook won't shut you down. You're trusting that TikTok won't shut you down, or Google, or whichever big tech monopoly you are attached to. They have the power to shut you down. And there's also the surveillance issue of who gets to see what you're doing. If you're talking about an observable blockchain where everybody can see everything that everyone else does, maybe that's not so good for these new virtual worlds. But in Epic's case, it's a money system for the metaverse that can handle NFTs better than anything out there. Full stop on that, by the way, more in time. But essentially, you're in control of the money because you control the keys and nobody can ever take it away from you. So making it interoperable with all these different worlds is a big part of that. And it keeps the user in control, and it's completely private because the job of the network is just to move the tokens, not to make a judgment about, you've been a bad boy, we're going to censor you. So it's just an inversion of the model.
This metaverse, what I just envision? I just envision these kids that start living in the metaverse and they end up being like 450 pounds by the time they're 18 because they're eating Cheetos the whole time that they're going around kicking ass in their own little meta universe and being the super football player or whatever. I'm just joking, but I have a question.
No, it's like any.
It's possible.
You're right though. It's like any stimulant. It has massive addiction potential, and there's this comedian. If for those of you old enough, Dennis Miller, who was like 20 years ago was talking about virtual reality, and he said something like, hey, imagine this, okay, some random truck driver, is going to be able to have sex with a supermodel, without leaving his motel room, for $5, so folks, this is going to make crack look like candy. So you can take a very dystopian look at it, of course, like any other technology, but that doesn't diminish the tremendous potential that it has to actually accomplish something meaningful.
Hey, great question in the chat. BTC is crashing. Will Epic follow?
BTC is not really crashing. Epic is not really following, and people got to just stop hitting the refresh button and go do something more meaningful with their lives.
Okay. Well, I haven't even, because I take your advice.
Markets are fidgety. This is Black Friday. This is what I was talking about at the very beginning of this thing. Markets are fidgety. It's not BTC's crashing. There's a massive correction in the stock market. There's a massive correction in the, so yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I think
they're crashing from all-time highs. I mean,
right. That's
but I think let's look at the fundamental utility of what people are doing with these different networks, because that seems like a question that makes sense, but then if you dig into it, it really doesn't, because the only purpose of BTC is as a store of value. This idea that the price will go up over time. The peer-to-peer cash aspect of it has receded so far in the background. I mean, it's $60 to send or whatever when the network gets clogged, which is fairly often. So if it's slow and expensive and you have to have others hold it for you most of the time anyway, then why not just leave it there? Plus, the incentive is to hodl, because over time the price tends to go up. So it's a very stagnant type of thing, and there's nothing to do but talk about the price while you wait. But Epic is a very dynamic thing. People own it to use it as cash. Just here in Miami, the things that I could go and do right now with my life where the seller would be totally happy to accept Epic as payment. In fact, maybe so happy that they offer a discount, as we're starting to see, because it's cheaper. There's no chargebacks. They don't have any delays on getting their money, you know, all these different benefits. The value of the currency tends to go up over time rather than a browning banana that starts rotting. Personal training, massage therapist, Italian cafe, spine surgery, spa salon, family doctor. I could go on, but increasingly, this is used as actual money for people. And particularly if you're moving value across borders where there's a lot of friction and time delay, then that adds up to real money, because it's $45 for a wire transfer, and it takes 20 minutes to fill out the forms. And then you have to call customer service to get it unblocked on both ends.
I have an emergency intervention here. I want to, and this is dead serious, guys, because somebody asked in the chat, is t.me/epiccash1 official. And so we're going to look at this together, because I just searched it and it has 9,499 members. And you guys tell me,
It's like a scammer group.
It's a scammer group. So what?
Probably.
I mean, if they have 10,000 members.
Well, we don't have 10,000 members, so
No, but
we only have 1590.
they're BS numbers. I mean, you can buy Telegram followers.
Yeah, it's a scam. Don't panic. Your bonus will be sent to you. Yes. So just report it as spam, or you report the group in there, and they'll check it out.
How do I report the group? I
don't know, but this is.
I don't know. Somebody will figure it out.
Well, no, but this is important, because I was talking to Becky Boo earlier, and part of this is beware of scams. And somebody put it in the chat, and I investigated, and it looks like this is a scam.
Yeah,
so
good to catch it.
Everybody beware. All right, sorry. Okay, that kind of crap gets me out of sorts. So okay, continue. Sorry.
Yeah. So in terms of raw numbers, we're right around 200 active contributors in 50 plus countries. In terms of current holders, we just passed 1,300, but that doesn't include people that pull the coins off. So we figure it's probably more like 2,000 would be a better number, more accurate, apples to apples. The Telegram main group, t.me/epiccash, is at 1,590, so strong growth there. And then there's dozens of working groups that have set up around specific objectives, where people have realized that the opportunity to make their whatever level of Epic holdings worth quite a bit more, seeing, oh, wow, it can go from 30 cents to $3 in a week. What if we do that again? We saw Dogecoin go to heights that nobody thought were possible. And so what could we achieve if we put our mind to it? So a shout out to, I'm sure I'm going to miss lots of people, but Tim C, Rowena, Mr. P, Lydia, Shelley, and Mother Trucker, just the ones that come to mind in the last hour. Everybody's doing lots of great stuff. So find a way to get involved. As Islo always says, if everybody did one little thing here and there, it would be amazing where we would get to in the blink of an eye. So we're getting good traction. The community is great. We're handling the growth really well. And then the other thing that's going to come in terms of a catalyst is some awareness building, so specifically marketing initiatives. So I'm not at liberty to disclose the names at the moment, but they're ones through Epic Fund Me, we were able to pass the hat for a very limited amount of spend that will get us in front of tens or hundreds of thousands of crypto investors and get some new eyes on us. And then also focusing on content creation, so Epicenter in your language through Twitter. So Epicenter, Fulfulde, Hausa, Kiswahili, Amharic, Chewa. There's about 30 languages where we want to dive in at a micro level and get into places so that we can achieve first a node in every country, and then one turns into two, turns into four, and eventually it's everywhere.
Hey,
So
man,
all
with
these
all
things
of
are
the
kind of coming
languages-
together.
there's 52 total languages in which content's being translated and edited right now. So quite
do you
a bit.
want to, Enrique, do you want to explain briefly the how the hive mind is functioning here on how we're actually achieving that? Because it's not as if we went out to a company and said, here's our library of content, translate these documents, give us a quote and come back in 2 weeks. Give us some insight for the audience on how we make the magic happen.
Yeah, essentially, community members contribute their time, their spare time whenever they want to translate documents, to help edit them. First they translate the documents, and then that's one part. But then you may have to update some data or move things around, as when you translate, the letters are different sizes in different languages. So other people do the work of editing, and it's all volunteer. There's no we don't go to a company and say, do this and we'll pay you so much. It's mostly been done through community members that are interested in getting the content out to various languages, because they hold Epic and they're invested in the ecosystem. So that's how it works, and we get people from all over the world helping out with that, translating articles, official information from Epic. So it's pretty, it's pretty big. Lots of work done.
Hey, Max, yesterday you were on and we were talking about lots of different things. And I just want to flash something. Just for those of you watching, we're letting some cats out of the bag, and I'm not going to keep this up very long, but I am going to just show it so visually you can have a sense of where this ecosystem is going. And if this doesn't impress the heck out of you, what will?
Oh, you didn't. Okay.
Do you want me to take it down? Because I will, but
please. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
one thing at a time. Where's my V3 in the mobile wallet? I mean, come on.
Well, some of you guys might rewind and go back and take a look at that, but that is the future, and it is one hell of a future. I'm telling you.
That's like thousands and thousands of hours of R&D by experts of all this type of stuff. It's all coming together, and not a minute too soon, because we need this.
Yeah. So my commitment, guys, is, I know Monkman's in there and saying Uncle V's a machine and such, is I just really did some soul searching after having my show with Mike Mamola last week, and it was like a bite size. It was 1 hour, and I thought, if I can have, and I can't commit that I'll be able to do it, but I am going to double up some days. But if I can get just one person from not just our team, but the community, to come on and talk about Epic Cash, how it's impacted your life, because we're all so diverse. I mean, I can't wait to get Mother Trucker on, Lydia on, my daughter on. I want to do that at least one show a day between now and the snapshot, just to be able to, maybe remind you guys that if you want to be on the right side of financial history, that you will acquire Epic Cash, and you will thank us all later. But so these are fun. I think 1 hour is the right number. What do you guys think?
Yeah, 1 hour is good. I mean, gives enough time for people to explain their journey, how they came to Epic.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think we should also, if people are out there with video editing skills, some easy layups for those that don't want to consume the video format. Google has, or YouTube has, an auto transcript that we can get the text and then translate that and put it out, subtitles. And perfect. I think we need to cut out like the juiciest 30-second and 3-minute clips and here and there. We're creating all this good content. Let's cut out the juicy parts for people that don't have the hour from what we're doing.
Beautiful. Right? Beautiful. I'm not going to raise my hand on that one, but those of you who have the skills and energy to be able to do that, I'll lay down the content, and you guys come up with the broom.
Yeah, if somebody wants to help, just ping me. I got something that I'll try to make as brief as possible, but
Sure.
I'm getting a lot of questions about E1, and so E1 is the wrapped Epic token. It's a single whole Epic coin that's wrapped into an ERC20 envelope, if you will. And so through a bridge on EDEX, it'll be free if you have ECR staked. You'll be able to essentially farm or stake, lend and swap. Those are the main things that people do in DeFi on Avalanche, Binance Smart Chain, Ethereum, Phantom, Moonriver, Polkadot, and WanChain. And so as our partner WanChain adds other networks, we'll get access there. So right now, if you're holding Epic, it doesn't produce any income for you, but now you'll be able to lend it and stake it and farm it and LP and market make and all that stuff. So if you're doing stuff on Aave or Compound or Cream or Sushi or Trader Joe, you'll be able to do that now. And so the way it works is you have to unwrap it, and there's a bit of friction and delay there, so there's a cost component, gas and whatnot, but the unwrapping is always free. And so essentially, if you're someone that knows how to write bots, and the price on one network is slightly below the other network, then you can just crack that token open, release the Epic, and essentially, make magic happen between blockchains based on our faster connection. So we're creating the conditions for people to create bots that move the value around between these different networks. And that's when I think you'll really see a force multiplier effect, because fundamentally the job of Epic is to provide that scarcity profile. And right now, Epic is sitting in its own little bucket, only connected through VTEX, which does $1 million a day on a few thousand users. When we go to Bitmart, that pipe is $2 billion a day with 8 million potential users. And instead of just one coin in and out, which is BTC, or I guess two with VEET, I mean, there's not much liquidity, but you can do it. Now there's 500 coins and a lot of professional market makers there. So you can find the other side of the trade without waiting 6 hours or crushing the price 22%. So it solves a lot of problems in one swoop.
It's amazing. That's why I like that. As you're talking about this, I'm looking at what you didn't want me to show, and it starts to make sense because you can kind of follow the subway. I can't wait till you release that, because I think it'll help a lot of people. So all right.
So there's some more. So there's some more things on E1. Why would you wrap it? If you wrap it, you can have the token be usable with any Ethereum wallet. So MetaMask, Trust Wallet, Wallet Connect, Coinbase Wallet, those all become standard because it's just an ERC20 token. And so another thing that this gives us in terms of market access, Monero users know that Kraken in the UK delisted it under regulatory soft pressure. Coinbase and crypto.com simply refuse to offer trading for any asset that has confidentiality. Bittrex USA delisted everything with privacy. And so those platforms are more than happy to list E1 because for them it's a standard token and they can get a revenue off of it. And so I think we'll see that the wrapped market develop a structural premium that reflects the fact that if you're kind of trapped in the Coinbase ecosystem for whatever reason, you might be willing to pay a bit extra. And then that creates an opportunity for somebody to serve that demand by doing the wrapping and unwrapping. So as we get more ways that the value moves around between parties more quickly under the stock to flow model and MV equals PQ and all that, we'll see a set of flywheels that serve as force multipliers, because fundamentally value in motion is more valuable than value that's stagnant. There's money and then there's currency. And so currency comes from current, which indicates the flowing nature of it. And so, we're finally reaching our stride as far as the true potential of, okay, we have sort of value down, and now that we're in the third era, that part's working. Now we need to get the medium of exchange part going.
That's beautiful. So I know a lot of people are wondering if you have your coins on Vite or Veet exchange for the 1225 snapshot. Now that you've let the cat out of the bag about ECK, will ECR tokens and ECK tokens appear on Vite without anyone having to do anything with them? How does that work?
Yeah, so ECR for sure, and ECK probably. We will confirm that specifically later. I don't want to speak out of turn on that, but we're always working to make it as easy and seamless as possible.
Okay, good. I know people will ask. The other thing is, and this is just from what I understand, is the snapshot will be taken, but that doesn't necessarily mean that those tokens will immediately appear in your wallet, right? On the 25th.
Correct.
That'll
Correct.
happen at a later point in time, not a too much later point in time, but it's
Correct.
just there's some verification to do. And
hurry up and wait.
yeah, hurry up and wait. So, but the key is to be in on the snapshot. So, okay, that's great. All right. It is 12:45. Yoga has no voice. And
I'm just listening.
and El McMurphy, you've been kind of quiet. Do you have anything you'd like to share with us? What's going on in your world? Oh, I do.
Yes.
I know. I want to announce.
Go
I want
ahead.
to announce this week. El McMurphy is going to become Uncle McMurphy. He's going to be the Uncle Vigilante of Spanish listening the world, right? Why don't you explain what you're doing?
Yeah, I'm gonna create a YouTube channel dedicated to Epic Cash, which is basically where I am in my crypto journey and where I've arrived. And it's gonna be in Spanish for all the Latino community, Spanish speaking people in the world. And yeah, it's essentially that's what it's gonna be about a little bit about how I got to where I am and why I've chosen Epic. And why I've gone all in on it, and unpack all of the elements of the ecosystem in Spanish.
And you know what I will do? I promise you, once you have that channel, I will automatically include it in all of the links in my show description, so that if somebody prefers to watch and listen to a really smart guy in Spanish, you can shut off this guy.
Awesome.
And click over into you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so and I get to be a guest on your show at least once. Right?
Oh yeah, you'll be the first guest. How about that?
Perfect. I think you'll have to translate, but no, that'll be fun. And congratulations. And you know what? I mean, I'm just doing this. We talk a lot about leading with your chin versus your handout around here. And you are just a living example of that, is that you're just moving forward. You're meeting a need. There's a lot of people out there who would be very interested in Epic Cash if they understood it. And a lot of people don't, I mean, English is not their native language. So let me speak to everybody else out there who is into Epic Cash and you speak a different language. By all means, feel free to do the same. Launch a channel in your language, launch a YouTube channel. We will support you. Whatever you need, we will support you. Because the more the merrier, the more the adoption. It's beautiful. So thank you for stepping up and doing that, Enrique. Can I call you Enrique? I mean, I know you as Enrique. Okay.
No problem.
Okay. So someone says, Vamos mio. What is that?
Vamos what? I can't read the chat. Hold on.
Vamos mijo.
Let me take a look at the chat.
I never took Spanish, obviously.
I think it just means let's go, son, or something like that.
Oh,
mijo. Mijo, it's abbreviation for my son or something.
Oh, nice.
Hey, Yoga knows.
Hey,
DT RH, thank you so much, Dave. He says report t.me/Epic Cash 1. And the way you do that is you click the 3 dots at the top and then info, and then you report them as fake. And hopefully we'll get rid of those scumbags. All right. Okay. Hey, Max, it is 12:50 and I have a hard stop at 1. So do you want to maybe we wrap this up 5 minutes early? Do you have anything additional you want to share with the troops out there?
Just as always, the call to get involved. Every little bit counts, and if you're in the boat enough to have a position, whether it's one coin or a fraction of a coin or more than that, or you're mining or whatever, every person can make a difference, even if it's just clicking the like button or retweeting something, or if you have any kinds of skills at all. Every single person can help in some way, and to the extent that we all wake up to that message and start doing that more and more to the extent possible, that's what will determine how far we can go and how fast.
And I will actually share with everyone. I interviewed Becky Boo, and I think I shared this pregame. I don't think I shared this at the beginning of the show. If I did, then I'm sorry, I'm old. But Becky Boo, after the interview, her mom actually came on the show at the very end of the interview and said hello and showed their dog and everything. And she's getting into Epic Cash too. So Becky, afterwards, she texted, DM'd me. She said, my mom is sending the video to all her friends and I'm explaining Epic to them now. All of my parents' friends are hopping on now too. I love being home for the break because I have a new list of clientele. So that just speaks to what you just said, Max, which is we can all do our part. So here, Becky Boo's mom's in the background listening, wanted to come over and say hi. And now she's sending the video around to her friends.
That's awesome, guys. That's really what it's all about. I mean, to me, this just can't be said enough, is everybody is so much more powerful than they may think.
Right.
And when people start just expressing their power, they start, reaching out and talking to people, anyone and everybody can and should evangelize, and the word gets out there, and the movement grows, and that's what it's all about.
Just give coins away. Just everybody you meet. Hey, I appreciate your service. Let me tip you in the new form of money. If you have 30 seconds to listen to why,
and this is how it started.
Let me give you the new way.
Right. This is how Bitcoin became the powerhouse. It wasn't thanks to all the shills that came on, last couple of years. It was it was the users, it was the pioneers in the beginning that that did these things, and they created these meaningful transactions. They created the awareness, they created the use cases, and they spread the knowledge. They shared the knowledge. They Bitcoin, before it got hijacked, it was a community thing, which was powerful and exciting. And Epic is that with better tech, and there's no secret recipe. It's all about the doing. You get up and you do it, and you spread the word, and more people know about it. That's it. That's the most powerful thing. Make it personal.
Unless you had layers, dude, because
we'll have ECK will have, for those who want layers in Napoleon cake, ECK will have layers. Okay. So we're here to please.
Hey, everyone in the chat, thank you for being with us this Friday yet again. We haven't missed one, I think, yet. And so I'm really grateful for you all. Hope you have a great extended holiday weekend. And let's see, tonight? No, not tonight. We moved it to tomorrow night, but for tomorrow night from 7 to 8 p.m., I'm going to have returning guest Captain Pi on to talk about his next article related to community. So I sure hope you show up in the chat. Should be yet another one. Everything that dude does, everything he writes ends up helping all of us, get other folks onboarded, because he has the gift of, dumbing things down so that people like me can understand it. So with that, I am going to